Today, you're connected more than ever. Your friends, your family, your life. Having a partner that understands banking is what you do on your time, anywhere you like. It's about being connected. Renaissance Bank, understanding you.
Sponsored by Renaissance Bank.
Good morning, Northeast Mississippi. This is Newsbreak for Wednesday, February 1st. I'm Brad Locke. Thanks for joining us. You can catch Newsbreak weekdays at 7 a.m. You can watch it at djournal.com, Facebook, YouTube, or the Daily Journal mobile apps for Apple and Android devices. Going to take a quick look at news, sports, and weather on this Wednesday. Let's start with the weather underground forecast for today. Going to have mostly cloudy skies, a high of 66 degrees, low of 45, got a 20% chance of rain. The 3-day outlook, we have a cool front moving in, bringing rain with it. Thursday, rain is very possible, high 51, low of 42. The chance of rain is 60%. Friday, overcast skies, high of 49, low of 34. 20% chance of rain. And then Saturday, mostly cloudy, high of 55, low of 46, 0% chance of rain. Let's take a look now at some of the top stories from the Daily Journal and djournal.com on this Wednesday. Mississippi's congressional delegation has commented on President Donald Trump's refugee and travel ban, but for the most part, they aren't getting very specific. On January 27th, Trump signed an executive order that halted the entrance of all refugees into the U.S. for 120 days. The stated purpose of this hiatus is to allow Trump's administration time to review and strengthen the vetting process for refugees. Senators Roger Wicker and Thad Cochran, both Republicans, declined to answer direct questions from the Daily Journal about whether they back the policies Trump enacted by executive order last week. Wicker did say that it's his duty to the American people to ensure that those seeking refuge here do not pose a threat to the United States. Cochran supports efforts to strengthen scrutiny of refugees, but reportedly continues to monitor court action on Trump's executive order. Representative Steve Palazzo, a Republican who represents the 4th Congressional District, did voice outright support for Trump's actions. He said the president understands the safety and security of the United States is his #1 responsibility. And Trent Kelly, who represents the 1st Congressional District in Northeast Mississippi, called for generosity to be balanced with security and failed to address the specifics of Trump's executive action. A new shelter in Starkville is allowing victims of house fires to be able to stay together as a family. The Pecan Acres building is owned by the Starkville Housing Authority and was last used as a daycare. It was renovated by volunteers into a 2-bedroom home with a kitchen, a living room, and dining room. The shelter opened in mid-September. Starkville Fire Chief Charles Yarbrough said victims of house fires can stay at the shelter for 3 to 7 days to help with the transition to permanent housing. Since the shelter is part of the Housing Authority, only Starkville residents are allowed to stay there. Thus far, 6 families have used it. The idea for the family-style shelter came from Columbus Fire and Rescue Chief Martin Andrews. Yarbrough said they are hoping to add another shelter on the other side of town and are also working with Oktibbeha County to have a facility for county residents. Northeast Mississippi donors came through for the United Way. Individuals and companies across 7 counties pledged $2,543,497. They exceeded the $2.525 million goal late last week. This year's campaign took a little longer than usual, and most years' campaigns are concluded by the end of December. United Way Executive Director Melinda Tidwell said the people of Northeast Mississippi are so concerned about each other and are willing to help when help is needed. The 2016 campaign had a tough hill to climb. The goal was set $25,000 higher than it was in 2015. Also, campaign staff had to replace a $136,000 gap left by a one-time 2015 donation and a local company whose new owners decided not to participate. Tidwell said educators stepped up in a big way. The school campaigns over 7 counties raised more than $200,000. That is a substantial increase over last year. A community celebration is planned for 11:30 a.m. on March 31st at the Bancorp South Conference Center in Tupelo. Tickets and information are available through the United Way office at 662-841-9133. And in sports, it should be a relatively quiet National Signing Day at Ole Miss and Mississippi State today. It's the biggest day of the year in football recruiting when high school prospects fax in their letters of intent to their programs of choice. The day is often rife with highly anticipated announcements and players changing their commitments. But for MSU, not much of that is expected. Coach Dan Mullen already has 13 members of his 2017 class on campus and enrolled in school. One player he would still love to get is Starkville linebacker Willie Gay, a former Ole Miss commit, who's expected to announce his decision at 9:30 this morning. As it stands now, MSU's commitment class is ranked 27th in the nation, 9th in the SEC by 24/7 Sports. And in Oxford, this class doesn't have the splash factor of previous Hugh Freeze classes. In fact, only 14 players are currently committed to the Rebels. Several other prospects remain in the mix, although it should be noted that Ole Miss will sign less than the NCAA allotment of 25 due to self-imposed scholarship cuts stemming from an ongoing NCAA investigation. Freeze's 2017 class enters today ranked number 53 in the country and 13th in the SEC, according to 24/7 Sports. He's trying to hold on to four-star receiver and cornerback D.D. Bowie, who is committed to Ole Miss but is being pursued hard by MSU. For live updates today, you can follow the Journal's National Signing Day coverage at djournal.com/signing day and look for the hashtag DJ Signing Day on Twitter. That's it for Newsbreak on this Wednesday. We do want to remind you to check out one of the podcasts we produce here at the Daily Journal, The Memo, all things Northeast Mississippi news and entertainment, with myself and W. Derek Russell. You can find it every Wednesday and Friday in iTunes, your podcast apps, or at memo.djournal.com. So look for a new episode this afternoon. All the stories I talked about today you can find in your Daily Journal and at djournal.com. Find us on Twitter at djournalnow. We're on Facebook as well. That's it for Newsbreak on this Wednesday. I'm Brad Locke. We'll see you next time.